Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here. Today I'm going to talk about the freeze mechanic because, well, we've seen a few cards from the upcoming expansion and a lot of them have freeze effects. And one that really piqued my interest was Cryostasis. So, this is a Shaman card. Shaman has some kind of synergies with freezes so far. We've only seen a third of the card, so there's probably a lot more to come, I hope. There's the legendary minion that, if you freeze something, you get a copy of the minion to your hand. It's kind of crappy tempo. I'm not so sure that card will see much play. But, the weapon, which allows you to kill minions on hit if they're frozen. You can freeze your opponent's minions, and it's a buff, so you might want to freeze your own minions to buff those. That kind of seems counterintuitive, but, maybe you have some taunts. A lot of taunts have low attack and pretty high health, and bumping that attack from like a 1 to a 4 can make the card extremely powerful. So, there's a little bit of that, but there's a few other mechanics that are pretty interesting to freeze that I think a lot of people didn't know about, and I wasn't even sure about it myself. So the clips at the end of my little talk here are basically a demonstration of what I'm talking about. So the interesting thing about freeze, you might notice if you've played with or against the water elemental. So, if you have a water elemental and the water elemental attacks, let's say it's on the opponent's side of the board. Let's say the water elemental attacks you. It's going to freeze you. You're going to lose 1 turn, right? And that seems pretty normal. That's how freeze effects works, right? But if you attack into a water elemental with like your minion or your weapon, you'll be freezed for like 2 turns. Well, I guess technically it's more like 1.5 turns. So why does that happen? Why is there that little bit of a difference, and how does it work exactly? So we can maybe understand cards like Cryostasis a little bit better. So basically what happens is if the minion can do something, so if you just played a minion, it can't do anything. But if you played a minion, then next turn it's still there, and let's say it can attack. So if the minion can attack, and then it attacks, and then you freeze it, it will not unfreeze at the end of your turn. The end of turn phase is where it checks if it will unfreeze. And if it could do something and did, or if it couldn't do anything, it was like just locked at the end of the turn, it will not unfreeze at the end of your turn. However, if you have an active minion, something that could attack, and you willingly do not attack with it, then you freeze it on your turn. Let's say with Cryostasis, you might have like a 1/4 minion that's just absolutely worthless otherwise. You might choose to not deal that 1 damage, and then Cryostasis it on your turn. It will actually unfreeze at the end of your turn. So you have an active minion that didn't do its action, and it gets frozen. It will unfreeze at the end of your turn. So it will be active again next turn. And that doesn't seem too logical in terms of how Hearthstone works and stuff, but that's how it works, and that's what makes this card, and probably a lot of the other ones we've yet to see, have some potential, I would say. This card's obviously pretty good on like totems as well, because totems can be active, but they can't attack because they have 0 attack. So if you got a totem in the last turn, and technically it could attack but can't because it doesn't have attack, you can Cryostasis your totem. It will unfreeze at the end of your turn, and then next turn you'd have basically a 3/5 minion. And a 3/5 minion for 4 mana with an effect, that's actually pretty good. So this card is a lot better than we think, and I imagine there's a lot more to come in this department, but that comes from knowing how freezing works, and that will probably give you the advantage against newer players that don't. So check out the clip. It'll make more sense if it hasn't been crystal clear already. Enjoy it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. So pay attention. Oh. Oh, it's totally gonna work now. Alright, we got taunt in front. Alright. Dude, we can even go next level on this here. Alright. So I'm gonna play that. So I just played that, okay? Oh, it's freeze an enemy. Oh shit, that doesn't even work. Never mind. Alright. So this has just been played. Both of these can attack. And I'm going to attack with one of them. Not attack with this one. And freeze all three. That one unfroze immediately. Okay. The one that I just played did not, though. Okay. So if it can attack and doesn't, and then you freeze it on your turn, it unfreezes right away. Like, all three of these should unfreeze now. Yep. Yeah, freeze blocks one attack. So that new card that like freezes a minion and buffs it, if you have a really small minion, particularly like a taunt, maybe you have like what's that called? Tar Creeper? You can buff that on your turn instead of doing 1 damage, and then it's a colossal taunt for your opponent to deal with on his turn. Then you can attack with it the next turn. It's maybe a bit more useful than we thought. Oh, he's dead, right? Okay. Time to get a new account. Well, I thought if you played a minion and then froze it, it would unfreeze immediately. No, I was only half right.